Hey everybody, it's Allison, the Holistic Homesteader. I'm here with Harper in London, and today we are going to be making a soft cutout sugar cookie recipe from Sally's Baking Addiction. I found that recipe online. We have a lot of our ingredients already prepped here, and we are just going to show you how we follow the recipe and how they turn out. So the first thing we are going to do is in our stand mixing KitchenAid mixer here, we have 3 sticks of butter, 3 sticks of unsalted butter. We're actually going to make a double batch of cookies. It should make about 4 dozen cookies. If you wanted to make a single batch that makes 2 dozen cookies, just follow her recipe online as it is. I'll link her recipe below. But we're gonna make a double batch. So we have 3 sticks of unsalted butter in our mixer. To that, we are going to add 1.5 cups of, I use raw organic sugar cane. We're going to add 1.5 cups of that to our mixer. And then we're going to mix it on high for about 2 minutes. All right, so we just shut off our mixer. We have beat together the 3 sticks of unsalted butter with 1.5 cups of our organic sugar cane. You can have whatever, you can use whatever sugar you have on hand though. To this mixture, we are going to add in 2 eggs and 4 teaspoons of vanilla, and then 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. So London is going to add in the 2 eggs. We have our own homemade organic vanilla here. This is really easy. I've found grade A organic vanilla beans online, and I just stuck, I think probably 3 or 4 of the vanilla beans. I split them down the center, scraped out all of the seeds, and then I added them into this sterilized mason jar, and I filled it with alcohol. I used vodka, a really good grade vodka. And then you just shake it probably once a week and let that go for several months, and you have your own homemade vanilla extract. And it's a lot more cost efficient than buying vanilla extract at the store. So we are going to add in to our butter, sugar, and eggs. We're going to add 4 teaspoons of vanilla. Remember, this is making a double batch. London's gonna add in 4 teaspoons of vanilla.
1, 2, 3, 4.
And then she is going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of pure almond extract.
I like the smell of it. Oh, it smells so good.
I'm gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl. Oh, there's Ruger. I'm gonna scrape down the sides of the bowl, and then we're gonna beat it again on high for about another minute. You wanna scrape it? Okay, ready? That's good. You don't have to do all that. Just sit it in there.
In the bowl?
So we have just beat that, all the ingredients, the wet ingredients, on high for another minute. Harper is going to scrape the beater and the walls of the bowl. We're gonna add 4.5 cups of flour. I have it all measured out here in this bowl, and I gave it a little whisk just to break up any of the big chunks. To that, I am going to add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So that was a teaspoon of baking powder. And then we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of just my crushed pink Himalayan salt. You wanna whisk that?
Sure, I can whisk.
Once Harper has this whisked together a little bit, we're going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. And we're just going to mix it on low until everything is well combined. All right, so you can see that everything is well combined and it's formed pretty big dough ball. So in the original recipe, it calls for splitting the dough ball in half. So you have 2 balls of dough, but we're actually doubling this recipe. So we're gonna split it in half and then we're gonna split it in half again. And we will end up with 4 dough balls. One of the tips on Sally's Baking Addiction website was to chill your dough for 1 to 2 hours before you cut it out. But you don't want to just chill it and dough balls. You want to actually roll it out and then put it into your fridge rolled out as the 1/4 inch thickness that you need. And then you pull them out of the fridge and then you're going to cut your cookies and bake them straight away. If you were to try to bake them from here, I don't think that they would turn into the consistency that you want for a cookie. And if you were to try to just put the dough ball in the fridge and then roll it out as a dough ball, I think that the butter would be too cold and your dough would crack. So you're going to want to take your dough from here, split it. I'm making a double batch, so I'm going to have 4 dough balls of equal size. I'm going to roll them out and then we're going to refrigerate those for 1 to 2 hours. I'm going to take my rings off and form this into a dough ball. So now we're just going to roll these out into 1/4 inch thickness. So I just have a cookie sheet here lined with parchment paper.
Yeah, that's like buddy arrow thingy. Lasto does.
Transferred easier than I expected.
I get some more flour.
So I have my first piece of dough rolled out. I'm going to put another piece of parchment paper and then I'm just going to keep layering my sheets of dough. They're about 1/4 inch thick. And we're just gonna stack up the other 3 layers of dough on here, and then they're gonna go in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. Here's our second one. 2 more to go. Okay, so we have all 4 of our rolled out cookie dough layers here from our double batch of soft cutout sugar cookies by Sally's Baking Addiction. So now we're just going to stick this tray. I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap, and then we are just going to stick it in the fridge for 1 to 2 hours. From there, we're going to show you the cutout cookie shapes that we choose, and I'm going to show you the kids cutting them out, and then we'll bake them off when we're done cutting them out. So I just pulled my cookie dough out of the fridge. I'm gonna take the plastic wrap off. All I'm gonna do is set these out on the counter, and I'm gonna have the kids cut out the shapes. So we bought from Amazon some Valentine's Day cutouts. There were 5 total, 2 hearts, a couple of decorative hearts, and then a set of lips. So that's what the kids will be using. And they're just going to, you need to wash your hands. And they are just going to cut out as many as they can, and then we're going to put them on parchment lined cookie sheets. So we have filled all 3 of our cookie sheets. We just have these lined with unbleached parchment paper. My oven is preheated with these at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 11 or 12 minutes. The goal is for them to be slightly golden around the edge. While our cookies are baking, Harper and I are going to re-roll all of the extra pieces of dough from around our cutout cookies. So we're going to re-roll this, and we're going to roll it out again at 1/4 inch thick, and then we're going to cut the rest of our cookies from these dough balls.
Whenever you cut them out, when you cut the cookies out, make sure there's, like, whenever you go to cut them, make sure they're real close together, but not too close.
This is the second batch of cookies here. You can see the edges are just starting to turn slightly golden brown. This was the first batch. I think we got some of the cookies a little bit too thin, but that's okay. We got all the rest of the cutouts on the pans. We're gonna put these back in the oven. The last 3 pans went about probably closer to 15 minutes than the 11 to 12 mark, but just keep watching them. You don't want them to overcook. Our cookies are finishing up in the oven, and while we wait, we are going to make a type of icing on our sugar cookies. So I'm going to use the Sally's Baking Addiction easy cookie icing recipe, and I'm gonna tweak it just a little bit because I'm kind of limited on supplies. So instead of using the corn syrup, I'm actually going to use some pancake syrup. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, but we're gonna try it. And we are to be using 6 cups of confectioner's sugar, and I'm just gonna start off with 1 whole bag straight off the gate instead of measuring everything out. So we're gonna dump this in the bowl, and then we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. To our bag of confectioner's sugar, it was a 32-ounce bag. We are going to add a 1 teaspoon of our homemade vanilla. So to our powdered sugar, our bag of powdered sugar, we added 1 teaspoon of our homemade vanilla, And now Harper is going to add 4 teaspoons of our pancake syrup.
While I'm doing this, she's gonna get our last batch. 2 last batches out.
So now to our powdered sugar, our vanilla, and our pancake syrup, Harper is going to add 4 tablespoons of water. I should mention we used room temperature water. I only started with 4 tablespoons of water because I think it's easier to add than to take away. Harper, you want to add some more water? Harper's going to add 1 tablespoon of water at a time. This is going to be really thick.
This is 5.
So this is number 5.
This is, I think, 12. Yeah, 12.
Yep. So that's 12 tablespoons of water. So this will be 13 tablespoons of water.
Allison's getting the cooks. She's sending the muscle to stir this thick deliciousness. We're just gonna make this, throw the cookies away because the icing's the best part.
Now we're gonna separate the icing into 3 bowls, and then we're gonna color it. So we're gonna make light pink, dark pink, and white.
Four drops in that one and 2 in this one as of right now.
And this is our white one.
Just stir it in now, if we can.
If we can.
As you can see, the white's already stirred. Pink is now stirred.
That's dark pink. Light pink.
Once our cookies are cold, we will begin icing. So all of our cookies are out of the oven and they are cold. We have them here on a cooling rack still. They smell so good. There's Ruger in the background. We are going to ice them with our dark pink, light pink, and white icing. And then they will take approximately 24 hours to dry, maybe a little bit less. I love the way the dog is just hanging out. All right, so I'm gonna let the kids have at it. They're gonna decorate these and we are just gonna show you how they look as we go.
My heart is struck.
There they are. I let the kids do most of the decorating. Turned out pretty good, even with the pancake syrup, corn syrup swap. We got them almost all iced with that 1 bag of confectioner sugar with like, I don't know, probably 14 tablespoons of
Maybe
water,
16.
some pancake syrup, and some homemade vanilla extract.
You turned out really well. I'm proud. I think I did good.
You did very well.
Thank you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Cookies.